So users are everywhere. They're in your family, they're your neighbors, they're your friends, they're your colleagues, they're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Anyone could be a user. Your mum can be a user. Your dad, your uncle, your best friend, anyone can be a user. These are people who create an unbalanced relationship with you. So it's one-sided, okay? Sometimes placing you in a position of a false sense of security where you are not sure as to where the relationship is, but you feel unsure. Hello and welcome to the Tortured Superhero series. My name is Desiree Shaw. I'm a psychotherapist and I vlog and podcast on men's mental health, mental health awareness. I'm on a mission to change the world one thought at a time and make therapy accessible. Welcome to the Tortured Superhero, where I link superheroes to men. I'm going to be talking about how to spot when you have been used. Being used is a natural part of life. It's possibly happened to most people, if not all of us. Those of us who use people have often been used ourselves. Those of us who are using people don't recognize that we're actually doing it. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to spot when you've been used. So linking it to the Tortured Superhero, I have discussed Spider-Man. I've also discussed Hulk and touched on Bruce Lee. So what do these characters have in common? Well, Spider-Man was used. He was used by the character Mysterio to give up the command of the computer. This man had lured Spider-Man into a false sense of security and then used and abused him. This happens often. Many of us have been in a situation where we have trusted somebody and then they've abused our trust. This is a part of life. So the only way to deal with it is to know what you are dealing with. Across the board in the Marvel comics, there are a load of villains who have used people. From Ultron, who uses the two young mutants to do his bidding. Then you've got Thanos, who uses his adopted daughter. There's a lot of using going on. And Magneto, who uses superheroes in order to get his needs met. Somebody who's using you is not thinking about you. So, not thinking about you in terms of you, but what you can do for them. So I'm going to go through a list of things to demonstrate what it is to be used. So how to spot a user. So users are everywhere. They're in your family, they're your neighbors, they're your friends, they're your colleagues, they're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Anyone could be a user. Your mum can be a user. Your dad, your uncle, your best friend, anyone can be a user. These are people who create an unbalanced relationship with you. So it's one-sided, okay? Sometimes placing you in a position of a false sense of security where you are not sure as to where the relationship is, but you feel unsure. And the only way to get any form of support in the relationship is if you give. So if you have to give, if you need to give anything, or you're being manipulated to give something, you're being used. Okay, so here are some signs where you can tell if you're being used. Sign number 1. If you feel uncomfortable in any way when you are with somebody, okay, and the only way that you can be with them is if you're agreeing to something that they want. And if you feel uncomfortable whenever you need to say no and you find that you can't say no, it's because you're actually being used. And you're being manipulated to not say no. Number 2, you feel that it is an impossible response to say no. Because if you say no, the other person is likely to go against you. So you don't just feel uncomfortable to say no, you think it's impossible to say no for fear of the aftermath and what they're going to do if you say no. You feel uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable around them. And you're not sure what they're going to do or say next. You're uneasy because they're unpredictable. That's one, okay? You don't know what's going to happen. And you're trying to keep them calm and safe and happy. You know you're being used in order to make them feel better and you are more uncomfortable. Number two, you feel that you cannot say no. And it's an impossible thing to even say no. Even though you may know that you're protecting yourself, but saying no would mean that now they're going to attack you emotionally or mentally. Often emotionally. That's what often happens. Number three, they are nice only when it's convenient for them. When they want something, they will be nice to you. So they will manipulate you. They'll show up and they'll turn up and they might say something nice to you. It might feel like they actually want to be with you or around you or in your person, but they don't. And they will expect you to receive their niceness, even if they haven't been around for months. A user can just turn up, even if they know they haven't spoken to you in a while. Just turn up on your doorstep and expect you to be nice because it's convenient for them. And you can't say no. And you will be uncomfortable because it's always on their terms. It's always imbalanced. There is no balance there. So it hurts to know when somebody has used you, particularly if somebody is close to you. We noticed that Spider-Man actually, when he realizes that Mysterio, Quentin, was actually against him and he had all his pent-up aggression and anger and venom towards him, he was shocked. He didn't get it because he actually quite liked the guy. Often we're used by people that we like. So how to spot a user? Well, you've got 3 steps here which you can go by and notice for yourself how to spot one and how not to get caught up in being hurt. Because users will hurt you regardless. And if you feel that you can only be as good as what you give, it's not a good relationship. It's completely unbalanced and it doesn't matter who that is. So there gets to a point where you've got to compassionately say no for your own self. So to practice self-compassion, you recognize that you have been used. And when you notice that you have been used, you take steps to protect yourself. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. They're not bad people. They're fallible human beings. But most importantly, you're mostly important than they are to you. So nobody gets the right to use you based on what they get out of you. You get the right to choose if you want to be a part of something or not. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Desiree Shaw. Welcome to the Tortured Superhero. I will be back. Bye for now.
This is the gown.
This is
Look at this gown. Right, hold on. Before we start.
I was going to put you in a dating app. This is my dating app pose. Just a cup of tea. That's what I do. Have a cup of tea. Cup of tea. Do you want a cup of tea? Got a cup of tea. Cup of tea. Cup of char. Cup of char. Cup of char. Mobile phone. Yeah, cup of char. Cup of char.
Right, ready?
You get in?
We need.
Yep.
Oh, we need a balance. Oh, there's no lights.
No.
Screw it. Good.
Let's get Desiree.
Yeah. Alright.
Always got a mug. How to know when you have been used. Welcome to the 9:15 news. Not quite the 9 o'clock or the 9:30 news. It's the 9:15, the 27 minute past 9 news.